Good afternoon. This is John McAllister with the McAllister Scouting Report, MSR. And today, as part of that, around the state, I'm going to spend time talking with Sam Smith, a junior from Wauseon High School in Northwest Ohio. He's 6'3", probably 2'5", 210, getting bigger, plays wide receiver and some outside linebacker, some free safety. But what I like about him is that he's athletic and he's big and he's got broad shoulders and he's just a project or a prospect now to get bigger and stronger and improve his speed. But he has great hands, and from the times I've talked to him, he's a great individual, a great kid. He's 4.0 student and a great person. So sit back, enjoy my podcast today with Sam Smith from Wauseon High School. Have a great day. Today, my guest is Sam Smith. Really a good athlete from Wauseon High School, and I watched him last fall on video, and I liked him, and I love getting him on my show today. Sam, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I really appreciate you having me on the podcast today.
Well, that's no problem. You find out there are a lot of voices, a lot of noise out there when this recruiting gets on. A lot of people, they like to give you advice on all those things. So
Right.
You got to weigh on that, man. You just really do. I've done this for 30 years, and trust me, it's getting worse and worse. Everybody's an expert. Excuse me. Okay, Sam, let's talk football first for a minute. What are your measurements?
My measurements, I'm about around 6'3", 6'4". So I'd guess 6'3.5" and about 200. I weighed in at 207 this morning. So
good. That's really good. Good frame, and you got broad shoulders. And obviously college coaches have told you're going to add weight and strength and all that stuff. Now, do you play other sports?
I run track, and I used to play basketball, but I decided this year that I'm going to try to gain some weight and bring a little more power to my game next year for football.
Okay. I think that's a good idea, but I like baseball. I like basketball, but unless you're getting a lot of playing time, I don't know. I don't want to get caught into this, but sometimes it's okay not to play basketball.
Yeah.
Spring track would be good. Are you running the open 400 or what? What you running?
I'm a sprinter. I run the 100 and 200.
Okay. Best time in the 100.
Best time in the 100, around 11.3, 11.4.
Okay. 11.4. If you do that every day last year, you've done a great job.
Yeah.
You line up in the 100. Now, I'll tell you, there's nothing like running track, though, because you are so competitive, starting in that 100 dash or getting that baton on the anchor of the 4x4 or the 4x1, and then I think that's so competitive.
Oh, it is. Track is definitely gives me the most butterflies, and I'm just ready to go and amped.
You had that baton outside that exchange, though, man.
Yeah. Oh, you can't put that up.
Okay, let's talk about what made you decide to play football. What makes football probably your number one thing now? What makes a football?
Oh, for sure. It's been in my family. It runs in my family. My uncle, he actually played corner at Akron. So it's right in my family. My dad, my uncles, they all won a state championship together in 97, and it was just it was kind of meant to be when I was born. I'm going to go play football, and I love to compete. Well,
that's really good. 97. Now I'll have to check my notes on your dad and all these guys. But no, Wauseon football, it goes up and down, it seems like, but you have good football up there.
Yeah.
Over the years, it's good football in Wauseon. And play up there, on the west side of Toledo, out in that area a little bit.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Okay, with that being said, you kind of hinted at it. Who's been a big influence on you? Who's kind of taken you and said, "Hey, this is what you should be doing. This is what we expect," and things like that? Who's done that? Who would you look at?
Well, academically, it's definitely my mom. My mom pushes me, and I've ever since I was young, I'm forced have to get A's, and A's. If I get an A minus, it's not good enough for her. She needs it. I need an A, so I have kind of acclimated to that, and I'm now when I get an A minus, I'm not there yet. I got to get up to an A plus, A's, and then for sports, it's definitely my dad. He pushes me really, really hard, and he loves me. He shows that he's really invested in me, and he believes in me. So that really pushes me too.
That's huge. That's huge. That's really good. Okay. What about, let's go to football. Let's do one more. What about what drives you, Sam? What's the cliche, or what do you keep in your mind, a saying or anything like that really motivates you?
Well, a lot of people say like prove the doubters wrong. I'm not like that. I prove my believers right. I want to prove the people that believe in me that they're right and that I can really do great things and be successful.
Well, that's interesting because a lot of people, I kind of believe it a little bit. You got to prove them wrong. I think that's a negative way to look at it,
Right.
but sometimes that really motivates a person. Tell me about school. I checked your GPA is not too bad. Your
Yeah,
your mom deserves a medal. So
yeah,
far,
top of my class.
you
4.0.
graduated 4.0 and you had a 29 on the ACT the first time.
Yeah, I'm gonna be shooting for I'm hoping a 32 plus
Yeah.
for February. I'm taking one in February.
I don't even think I think it's still good to take it, but I gosh, I think it's so hard sometimes. People get nervous and things like that taking that test. I
Right.
have
Yeah.
mixed emotions whether they should count the ACT, SAT now. I go both ways on it.
Yeah.
But tell me, a football player, what's your best position?
My best position.
Right.
Um,
Your favorite? Yeah, let's say your best.
my best. I'd say I feel like my combination of size and speed is used really well as a wide receiver and even a split end kind of guy, a tight end. So we'll have to see. And even outside linebacker. I've looked into a lot of outside linebacker. I love the film of the game, like watching the film and learning tendencies and pulling guards, and that just really interests me. It's like kind of studying.
Well, yeah, I think that's great. I think people are doing it more and more because you have more access to it. I've told this to about every guy. Coach Tressel, we laughed. When we did a podcast with him, we laughed because back in the day, all I had was a Super 8 when I first started. Then I had 60 millimeter, and you couldn't do anything but so it's so great. And I think it's good you study. You can study offense too. Look at their defense and see what guys,
Right.
figure out guys and see what they're, if they give any kind of giveaway. But I think that's really a good idea. What do you have to improve on as a football player?
Improve.
Yeah.
I'd say even going on with that film, I believe reading film, you can always get better at it. You can always find tendencies, and I believe reading my film and just maturing, gaining some weight and some power, a little more that I'd like, and that's what I'm trying to do for my senior year.
Now, okay. Now, what is the strength you have?
My combination, I think, of sizes.
I can't remember. What's the strength that you have? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I believe my combination of size and speed. I believe
Yeah.
I can beat a corner if he's smaller than me. He's gonna be just as fast, but I'm gonna be bigger. If the guy's just as big as me, I know I'll be faster.
Yeah.
So
Well, I agree. But I would tell you, I would think, I would hope, I don't know, are you training at the high school or you into personal trainers or anything like that? Or how does that work for you?
I've been training a lot with fourth and goal athletics. They have an indoor kind of camp, like it's a
I know.
camp, but it's like $30. You come
I
in,
know all about it.
yeah,
Okay.
you run some
Oh,
one-on-ones.
but
So
are you doing I really believe, now you'll think I'm crazy, but I think strength training is so huge now. I mean, you know, quarterbacks, I don't even think should worry about throwing a football right now. It's January, for heaven's sakes, February. I mean, catch it. I think it's good to do that and have fun and, you know, spend your money. But if you can, you really need to get stronger core muscles and because, and you need to improve your burst.
Right.
Because, and I would tell you the other thing, and I think you have excellent hands. You have big hands. You squeeze it, and I think you have great. I think I forget the buzzword now. Catch radius or something. But you catch the football. Now, what I would work on is overall strength, and then that burst, and then I think the other thing is your core, because that'll help you an awful lot.
Gotcha.
And the other thing, and I will go on to something else. I don't want to coach you. Is get any of those 5x10 drill, 5-10-5 drills, and anything for quick feet. You know, anything that gets you, a little quick. You can find them, and boy, I think that's really huge because you're gonna have to work on your feet too. But
no, I'm definitely trying to gain weight. I'm up to 6 days a week right now in the gym. I go every day after school. It's pretty much my practice, so I've definitely been putting in that work.
Good, but make sure when you do these, you call them workouts, make sure it's more than catching the football. Make sure you're doing the drills right. I used to run camps and combines. Okay, let's get away from all of that. All right. Because I think I know more than some people. Okay, what you told me words to live by. What kind of upsets you sometimes? What's up? Let me know what upsets you.
Like what do you mean? Like just
what pulls your chain? It can be in athletics. It can be what kind of disturbs you. Not really, not go crazy mad, but what kind of bugs you a little bit?
Guys that don't know when to like at practice, guys that don't know when to really practice, like they'll be screwing around a lot of the time. That doesn't sit right with me because I love to win, and I know practice is a big part of winning, and you can't really do that screwing around. So that's something that pulls my chain.
That's really good.
Say that.
Okay, as you look back, now as you look back, is there anything so far? I call it a top sports moment. Anything so far that you will talk about with your buddies 10 years from now, and the stories will get bigger and bigger. But is there anything right now that you just remember? You're going to remember? A highlight or anything like that?
Well, actually, this year it was I'd say it was we'd count it as a mediocre year, but for some schools it's a really good year. We went about 7-3 in the regular season, and we lost to really good teams that we were right there for, but I believe we could have beat them. And then we were about an 11 seed going into the playoffs. We played a 6 seed, and we were really focused, and we really wanted to win a big game and prove to ourselves that we could really beat a good team. And we went out there, and I think it was 42-7. It was a really good game, really great game, really well executed.
You were 11th seed, and they were 6, right?
Yeah. Okay,
tell me the game where you had 6 catches for 220 yards, and you have touchdowns of 63, 31, and 93 yards.
That was that game.
That was that game?
Yeah.
And you're sitting there him-hawing about a high point? My goodness, that game would have been a high point in your career. In fact, you'll be telling about that forever. I mean, I'm reading it down here. You had 3 touchdowns, 63, 31, and 93. That's pretty good. That's really good.
I'm shooting for a lot of those next year. I've been able to do those on and off. My sophomore year, my first game in actually on varsity, I was nervous, but they started giving me the ball, and I ended up, I think, with 3 touchdowns that game too.
Well, see, there's another highlight. Man, what are you doing with me here? You got all kind of highlights. Okay, now I have 3 crazy questions. Here's the first one. Who would you like to hang out with for one whole day? and anybody you wanted to do it with, anybody you can hang out with, who would it be?
I'd say Michael Jordan, and his because his willingness to win on any at any cost, that really sticks out to me.
You're totally right, by the way. I mean, punching guys in practice and everything else. I mean, he really, really wanted to win. If you've watched that feature they had on him, but that's who Michael Jordan was, and that's
Right.
separated him. That's really good. Don't punch anybody in practice.
No, just I love bringing intensity. I like to bring intensity.
What advice would you give a freshman? Okay, you're going into your senior year. You're a leader. You better be. You're getting some recruiting, things like that. Some freshmen's dragging. What are you going to tell them about football?
There's a lot that can happen in 4 years. You can't get down. You gotta ride the lows and ride the highs. You can't get too low or too high. My freshman year, I was injured for some of it. I had some muscle injuries just from growing a lot because I sprouted up pretty good. And I just tell them to not get too low and just keep working hard, because there's so many opportunities that you have so many opportunities in 4 years to make a play or get any opportunity, really.
Right. You're just a play away as far as playing as well, too, if you're not starting, I think. Okay, second silly question for you. What talent would you like to have that you don't have and you'll never get? You'll never have that talent. What's the answer to that? And if you want to go to something else, we can.
Ooh, man. Like, I believe, like, baseball. Baseball's I have a
When you play
brother-in-law.
baseball, I saw a picture of you. I think.
Yeah, I got a brother-in-law, and he plays at BG for baseball, and man, I just think it's really cool to have that kind of skill to be able to hit a ball.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's really interesting. And I used to play baseball, but I was never that.
Okay. Okay. We just have a few more questions here and we'll be good. Okay. Energy is so huge in football,
Right.
And juice and energy and all that stuff. What type of energy do you bring to the football team?
Intensity. And I bring intensity to every practice. I know when to joke around and I know when to really dig in and lock in. And I believe that I want to be able to beat anyone at any point, and I'm really competitive. I love to win.
That's really good. I used to call it the white line thinking. I knew a lot of guys when I did more evaluations and those kind of things. They joke around with you and everything else, not necessarily warming up, but just talking to you before the game or things like that. And they're loosey. And as soon as they stepped across the white line, they'd cut your heart out.
Right.
I'm saying
Right.
that's kind of a crazy exaggeration, but just tough and mean. You just didn't. And I'm smart enough to know that, so you don't bug them when they're focused in. That's a little bit like you, I think, probably, huh?
Right.
The intensity part of it. Because, man, at the white line, as soon as they stepped over that white line, it was like crazy.
Game time.
That's really good. And does that help your team or hurt your team?
Oh, it helps 100%. It's a change of pace that gets you all right. It's football. It's practice time. It's game time.
Okay. What do the players say behind your back? Your teammates. What do they say behind your back?
What do they say?
Mostly positive, I hope.
Yeah, they respect me. I believe they respect me because I'm always trying to win, and I love to win, and I'll do anything to win. And I hope they know that I want the best for the team at all times. I always want the best for the team, and I believe they respect me for that.
Senior year, man, you better have that energy. You better have all that. You better have, that makes
Right.
it for a lot of fun. 7-3 was okay, but you have bigger goals coming up.
Right. I want to go a lot deeper.
You maybe have answered this. Was there ever a time when the switch came on or the light came on and you said, in your 3 years so far that you said, hey, I got to step it up, or I get it now? Was there ever a time like that?
Um,
I mean, when you just said, it's time to step it up a notch, sophomore, whatever, football's over now, I'm JV, I got to get after it. Was there any time like that?
I believe it was my sophomore year. I was finding my place on the team and still finding my own, like, on the starting spot. So I was really focused on that. And I believe about halfway through that, I was really getting my starting spot, and I was getting comfortable with being like a stat leader, being able to really control a game. And I think it was between probably middle of my sophomore year, end of my sophomore year.
Good. That's really good. Okay, I'm going to recruit you. I'm coming to recruit you. What do you think your best quality as a person, as a young guy, as a student? What's your best quality?
As a student, I believe I'm mature for my age. I won't be doing any of the childish stuff when in college, and chasing.
Well, you'll be doing childish stuff, just a little older child.
Right,
okay?
right.
No, I'm messing with you. Okay.
No.
You consider that, you'll hopefully stay away from things that can get you in trouble and things like, like that, right?
Oh, absolutely. I focus. It's all football and school. It's all football and school.
Okay, last question. What sets you apart? Have you been to any camps yet?
This year?
No, last summer football camps. You've been to any college camps?
Yeah, I've been at Toledo.
What sets you apart from all the other guys in your position?
I'm measuring about 6'3", and I feel like I'm running a pretty consistent 4.65, usually under the 4.6s.
Okay, that's really good. So you've got size and speed. Recruiting, last question. How's recruiting going?
How's recruiting going? It's definitely, this past week, it's definitely been picking up, and I'm just thankful for all the opportunities I get, and I've been in talks with a lot of coaches, and I just really appreciate the opportunities that I'm getting.
That's good, and be patient.
Right.
Be patient. We talked about it off the podcast, how colleges, they get transfer portals and all these other kind of things now.
Right.
The last question, and the last thing I would tell you, I really appreciate Sam, you being on my show. And everybody talks about tight end, split end, and don't be afraid to look at defense sometimes, because I see things watching your highlights that you may be, there's some defensive possibilities in there. If you fill out your big shoulders and you fell out, you may be an outside linebacker or a Mike backer. Those guys are really hard to find that can run, and you can run, and you have a pretty good first step, which linebackers need. So don't be afraid of that, okay?
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much for being on my show, Sam. I appreciate it.
Oh, anytime. I really appreciate you having me. It's a great opportunity.
Thank you. The Wauseon Indians, right?
Yep.
Huh? Thank you very much.